tell me, how important do you think the Black Lives Matter movement and indeed the president's response to it has been in this election and the result?
I think it's been incredibly instrumental. We had earlier this year in the U.S. that in all 50 states in this country, what you saw Black uprisings. You saw uprisings led by Black Voters Matter activists. Black Lives Matter activists, multiracial, multi-generational, the largest uprising ever in the history of this country. And I certainly think that with a lot of the energy and the momentum and some of the deep ongoing organizing work that is happening in the social justice spaces, that all of that led to what we see now. We're seeing a transformation, particularly in the South, in states like Georgia that are usually solid red states that normally we would not be talking about Georgia as a state that is a significant in play in a presidential election. But we're in play because organizers on the ground, many of them associated with the work of Black Lives Matter and other social justice movements, have actually been organizing over the last decade. And now what you see is a result in Georgia.
And the fact that Georgia seems to have gone blue after all these decades, that is really significant, is it not?
It's very significant. It's been over 27 years since the state of Georgia has gone blue for a presidential candidate. What I think that's very reflective of are two things. I think one is very reflective of the changing demographics in the South, the changing demographics in Georgia, that what you see is you see Georgia becoming more diverse. You're seeing from the API community, from the Latinx community, the African-American community, the progressive white community is growing. And they're creating a coalition that I certainly think is going to shift the political landscape of the state. The second thing that I think that we see as well is that deep organizing work, that this wasn't just about an election. This just didn't happen overnight. Over the last few years, there's been deep organizing on the ground that has led to this victory, I believe.
We've done a lot on this program about the deterrence, the suppression of black votes, especially in the last election. That didn't seem to have worked this time round. But it is true, is it not, that quite a few minorities, especially the Latinos, did not vote for Biden in the kind of numbers expected. A lot of them voted for Trump.
Well, I actually disagree with the truth of the matter is Biden actually got more black votes and Latinx votes in the state of Georgia than Obama did. What happened is what you have is in this country, you had more people to participate in the presidential election ever in the history of this country. So you had more people to participate. There were more Democrats to participate and there were more Republicans that participated. But when you look at the raw numbers of how many people actually voted for Biden in the state of Georgia and how many black voters, in fact, it was actually more black voters that voted for him than voted for Obama. And I think that's because what was on the ballot was really beyond not just the political parties or the candidates, but we really saw ourselves that COVID-19 has had a devastating impact on our community. We're concerned with what is happening in this nation as we move forward, and we're concerned with democracy. And I also believe that what we saw from 2018, it wasn't that voter suppression, didn't work or it wasn't effective. We overcame it, just as we overcome racism day in and day out of fighting it. What we have seen is that black voters were determined. They were organized, they were ready and committed. And as a result, you saw a record turnout of black voters in the state of Georgia, which in fact has made a difference.
Okay. All right, LaTosha Brown, thank you very much indeed.